While the little girl wasn't looking, the young woman started snooping through the little girl's things. Casey's heart started racing because she actually had been going through the little girl's things when she thought that Eleanor wasn't looking. And when the young woman wasn't looking,
I'd start shooting.
The little girl stabbed her to death.
I'd have hit fired. Guess who's back? Back again. Freida's back. Not again. I'm just kidding. I'm actually quite excited to get back to what got this show its 3 viewers. 2 weeks ago, everybody's favourite thriller writer released The Intruder, and I think we're all excited to see Freida do what Freida does best. Our main character is Casey, a woman in a cabin in a storm. One day, a girl covered in blood and holding a knife shows up at the cabin, and Casey must decide whether to let her in. In a normal world, that would be a no-brainer. No. But if I know Freida, by the time this story is done, I'll be questioning everything that I thought I knew about writing blurbs. Yeah. Freida's blurbs are never a representation of what's going to happen in the book. She always does that.
Do you know what? I was sure you would get the main character's name wrong because you read the book and you didn't listen to it. I thought if you read the book, you'd think the name's Cassie, not Casey.
Oh.
It is actually Casey.
It is Casey.
So I'm surprised you knew about that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's surprising. Pause this video right now. Go and read The Intruder by
Freida McFadden. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So, what did you think of the book?
I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was a huge waste of time. And the reason why I say it's a huge waste of time is because when you read a Freida McFadden book, look, we all know what we're here for.
Yeah.
We know what we're here for. It's like watching porn. We know what we're here for, right?
Don't judge.
We're here for that twist upon twist upon twist.
But,
at the end, and it's just it feels like the twists are getting less. Like, I want it to be almost a callback to things that I've seen earlier in the book. I want it to make sense. I want to see things that I missed out and stuff like that. I don't want it to just be, oh, here's this information that you would easily have guessed it if you had it, which you didn't have it because I left it out on purpose. And that's
but
kind
Freida's
of what
is never normally like that, though, isn't it? It's always these blindside twists.
There'll be an element of blindsiding to it, and I don't mind that. But it's just like when she adds on things as well. Do you remember when we read The Housemaid? It wasn't The Housemaid. It was the first one that we read, and then they had all the twists or whatever. And then the old woman came out of nowhere. She was the one that killed it, and it was just like you just won too many.
I disagree. I liked the twist, and that was probably the only thing I liked. I did read a lot of the reviews, and people said they guessed it somehow. I don't know how they did it. They said, "Oh, I saw it coming." I don't know how you guessed it.
I guess if you're proper diehard Freida McFadden fan since day one, I guess you start to see the patterns.
But let's get into it. That's what I was supposed to say. Someone commented on a video at the start of the week and said, I can't wait for you guys to read The Intruder because I want to know what you said about it.
Interesting.
And I replied in the comments. I said, yeah, we're actually reading it at the moment, so it'll be out on the weekend or whatever. So that's nice. You know, we got people
nice.
hanging at the end of our sentences or whatever. It's probably mostly mine. But yeah, I'm going to go first. I saw a Goodreads review that started with, "The devil works hard, but Freida works harder." And it's funny because it's true. Let me start by asking, do we have Stockholm Syndrome? Because no matter how much frustration and pain Freida McFadden puts me through, I keep coming back. I've got her book in my hand again, chasing the first high like an addict. It's always disappointing, but I can't stop. Maybe I should just get clean. Nah, fuck that.
Relapse.
The Intruder. From the title alone, I knew I'd regret it. With a name like that, you just know it's going to be one location, slow pacing and endless repetition. Even Freida seems to be aware, as it's barely 7 hours long. At least this time, I'm not confused. We've got Casey and we've got Eleanor. Casey is a former teacher who's just been fired for something mysterious. We're kept in the dock on purpose. Eleanor, she's a 12-year-old who breaks into Casey's house. Casey catches her at gunpoint. The kid's carrying a knife and she's covered in blood. So what does Casey do? Invites her inside, of course. I'd have probably shot her. But I guess plot armor makes fear optional.
100%.
In true Freida McFadden's fashion, the story jumps between past and present. And honestly, I was so bored during the first half of the book, I seriously considered DNFing it. Was Freida McFadden purposely trying to bore us in the first section of the book? I at least hope she was trying, but why would you ever try to bore your readers? Isn't that always a bad strategy?
Yes. Yeah,
Always.
I agree. Always.
But in
it's
some
never
of the
good to bore.
greatest shows that we've watched, I think they've been trying to bore us too. Like
I don't-
Game of Thrones.
I knew you was about to
some
bring
of
up Game of
even
Thrones.
the first episode.
I know you was about to bring up Game of Thrones. I don't think their strategy was to bore people. I think their strategy was to set
Give
up a framework.
information.
Yeah, expositional information. Set up a framework where people can be entertained where there is no action on screen, which I think is key to keeping people's interest. Unless you want to make a Transformers movie,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously,
But she wasn't-
the meat and potatoes of Game of Thrones for like a good 6 seasons wasn't even action. It wasn't the dragons. It was actually the politics and getting into the nitty gritty,
whorehouses.
the dirty details. The brothels.
That's what I was
That's where I'd be.
for.
100%. Getting
Gold
baps
coins.
out. Yeah, 100%. I should have seen the dual timelines coming. At this point, if it continues to surprise me, I can't blame anybody but myself. It's like, newsflash, water is wet. So, in the past, we have Eleanor, a teenager who lives with her abusive mother, and in the present, we have Casey, the woman in the cabin in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire. In typical Freida fashion, almost like we, the audience, are detectives at a crime scene, we're going to start in the aftermath and work our way back through events. I still dislike dual timelines, but I don't mind so much here because I feel like it was an attempt to avoid the story being in one location.
She had to do.
She had to do something. She had to do something. If it was ever necessary.
It would take a genius to write something in one location and it be quite interesting. There's a book that I think it's Hateful Eight. No, it's a film, Hateful Eight. Have you watched?
Yeah,
Hateful
with the Quentin Tarantino one. I
Have
haven't watched it. No, but
that's one thing that's set in one location that is actually quite interesting. But you're still gonna get moments of downtime and stuff like that.
You have to.
That's unavoidable. So I think this needed the dual timeline. We just needed 2 stories that were good, or at least one story that was
100%.
interesting.
Even if you have dual timelines and it's only one timeline you're interested in, there's still something good about that because you're like, oh, I can't wait to get back to the other one. So there's actually still something good about it. So it's really hard to mess up. It's really hard to mess up.
You got 2 tries. I'm so sick of Freida McFadden. This book is so boring. Is she trying to entertain me or is she trying to make me cry? Because it feels like every single child in this story is abused by their parents. Yeah. Eleanor lives in a absolute squalor because of her mum's mental health problems. Her mother's a serial hoarder. She won't throw anything away. You literally have to climb over mountains of trash just to get through the door. And to make it worse, she puts her cigarettes out on her daughter's arms as punishment. And then there's Eleanor's best friend, Anton, who regularly gets beaten by his alcoholic father. Why is every child in this book abused? Is that supposed to be a shortcut to make us care about them? Because it's not working. I still don't care. Why Eleanor ends up in Casey's house in the first place, is that ever actually explained? If it was, I must have missed it. Probably because I was half asleep during yet another rant about infinity promises.
Oh yeah, the Infinity Promise. I always felt that was a bit juvenile. I was like, listen, she's covered in blood, she's got a knife, she's not a kid. Do you know what I mean?
Not anymore.
Like, clearly not.
Worst of all, I'm not even halfway through and I already have zero desire to continue. If this wasn't a Freida McFadden book, I'd have DNF'd it ages ago. But honestly, I'm starting to realise that that's not a good enough reason to keep reading anymore. Was Freida banking on us sticking around just to find out why Cassie was fired or what was in Eleanor's bag? You know, that's boring. I promise you nobody cares. Yeah. The pacing of this book is completely off. But out of curiosity, Joseph, which storyline was you more invested in? Which one was the Assassin's Creed and which one was the Desmond?
Good question. There was moments where I was like, oh, they're both Desmond, to be honest. But which is just the one combo you don't want. It's like the one situation you don't want to end up in. Out of the 4 possible that you have, the one you don't want is that one. But if I had to pick one that I was more interested in, I would probably have said... It
had to be Eleanor's. That wasn't actually Eleanor.
Yeah. No, she was Eleanor.
No, that was Eleanor. No, it was Eleanor's story. That wasn't actually Eleanor.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And even that was pointless. Very
pointless, but it's just like, I guess there was, you kind of connect to it more emotionally because obviously mum was putting out cigarettes on her arms and this kind of stuff and you feel like the trauma of it. But beyond that, honestly, I really wasn't that interested in either one, to be honest. Yeah. I kind of just wanted to... Maybe I picked Casey's one because I just want to know what's going on.
So also, do you think all the child abuse in there, was that to get us... Was that a hard, heavy-handed attempt to get us to like them?
I think it's something we're seeing more and more often as well, like these heavy-handed child abuse, disabuse,
but we didn't have to do... We could have had the child abuse in terms of... her child just having to deal with the mental health. We didn't have to have the cigarette burns and the beating and the locking in
that
and
was
stuff.
over the
That
top.
was just like, come on. And then we also had Anton, his father, beating Black and Blue. We didn't need to deal with that. I think it could have been a nice touch because honestly, I do think that when children have to deal with their parents' undiagnosed mental problems, that can lead to child abuse because your children shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So that would have been, a powerful little nudge to the maybe mental health community, or I don't know.
Do they have a community?
No, I mean like the people who are mental health awareness. I should say. That could have been a little nudge towards that, but it just felt like a slap in the face.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Not unlike what Anton was getting.
I mean, if you like that sort of thing,
and I do.
I'm not gonna.
Love all of that, mate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Decent start. Casey's rental cabin isn't built for strong winds, but she would rather thug it out than ask her landlord for assistance, as, let's just say her landlord is not solely interested in money, if you know what I mean.
Even better.
He wanted to leave the nuts hanging out, and she knows, landlord's the worst person to be, that kind of person is
That's
like...
the best person to be in debt.
No, who's the worst?
Best person.
So she wraps up warm, steals her nerve, and prepares to wait out the storm. Soon enough, Casey notices a light in her tool shed. Like a true American, she grabs her gun, and proceeds to investigate. I was hoping someone was going to break in. I'm telling you. Just shoot through the wall.
Yeah.
Listen, if you got a shotgun, doesn't matter what they're hiding behind. There, she finds Eleanor, a teen covered in blood and holding a knife. Instead of double tapping her immediately, which is what I would have done, she invites her inside for a meal under the promise of not calling the police.
But this is the thing. You would 100% get away with that if you was in America.
Of course. She's covered in blood, and she's broken, black, and she's broken onto my property. No.
You know, in some states, you can execute them.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you shoot them, they're down. You can go up to them and finish them off.
Absolutely, of course.
Is crazy.
It's crazy. That's never gonna seem normal to us because you could never do something like that.
But they're like, wait, so what? People just break into your house and
can't do that, mate. But you know what? It's over there. It's like, if I've got a shotgun in my house, whoever broke into my house might also have a shotgun. So it's just like, you kind of have to now.
No. Look, I think there's a difference. You shoot them, they're down, they're screaming.
No, I know what you're saying.
They have a
constitutional right. Constitutional right.
Execute
obligation.
Them, begging and pleading on the floor.
It's an obligation. You have to. It's no choice. But yeah, no, it's that's why I would live in America.
The wrong house.
That's what I'm saying. Wrong house, partner.
But the police say they want you to do it because they say, you're never gonna. What is it? 100% no refund rate or something like that.
Yeah, things like that.
Put them down,
100%. Looking up at the goddamn grass. That's what they say.
Crazy.
What I was wondering was, why is it called The Bloody Intruder when she invited her inside? That's so silly. It's just like, this is what I mean about Freida's books. It's just like, from the title and the blood, you're never going to get... It's like she sets up this thing and it's like...
It's like another team, right?
Exactly. It's like expectations are being subverted in the most cheap way possible because you're just giving us false information. The title is false. The blurb is false. The characters' names are fake. It's like you're never going to see any of this coming, and it just feels like... it doesn't feel like a payoff to me when I get the twist.
I think at the very least, we have to give it some extra points because there was a stealth mission.
Maybe you can. All the biggest and best horror movies start with a harmless little girl, and I'm not buying it. I would have double tapped her in self-defense since she's holding a knife, but then I suppose if it were me, the story would be over. But it's exactly like we said, you poke through the door into a tool shed, you see a little girl with a knife holding blood. Wouldn't even aim. I'm finishing that ammo. Rinse it.
Finally, something gripping. We are only 3/4 of the way in. Maybe Freida still has got it. Or has still got it. The story that Eleanor told Casey was good. I'll give her that. Eleanor said, "Can you tell me a bedtime story?" Eleanor didn't like Casey's story. And she told her as much. "Could you do any better?" Casey said. Eleanor said, "Once upon a time, a little girl knocked on a door and a young woman let her in. While the little girl wasn't looking, the young woman started snooping through the little girl's things." Casey's heart started racing because she actually had been going through the little girl's things when she thought that Eleanor wasn't looking. And when the young woman wasn't
I'll just
looking,
start shooting.
the
Mid-story.
the little girl stabbed her to death.
I'd have hit fired.
If that was you was Casey, and that little girl just told you that story and then said night night and turned over, what are you doing?
No, that's crazy.
In the woods, you're in the woods, there's nobody around.
They will never find your body. Yeah, I'm shooting. Sorry.
But yeah, I found that scene entertaining. It was powerful and it was creative, and it proves that she still is capable of showing some skill, surely. Or is it just a case of even a broken clock is right twice a day?
No, I think all the issues we have with Freida's stuff is structural issues, it's systemic issues, it's planning issues. We just don't like what she wants to achieve as opposed to how she got there.
This is one book that I would say definitely needs wholesale changes.
Yeah, I thought a lot of her books needed wholesale changes, to be fair, but I don't think it's her writing style. I think it's her storytelling style.
What do you think is worse, this or The Crash?
Nah, nothing's going to be worse than The Crash. Crash
Not
was
even
terrible.
The Tenant. The Tenant was
The Tenant was bad, but I think The Crash was worse.
The Crash was worse though.
The Crash was horrifying.
It was yeah, and it was set in one location.
And like she crashed for no reason as well. It was the worst. It's like
well,
the title
was a woman driving.
Yeah, in a blizzard, a pregnant woman driving in a blizzard.
Yeah,
nonsense. But yeah, we're not here to talk about The Crash.
yeah.
Not that I'm advocating for gun violence, but why hasn't Casey shot Eleanor yet? At this point, it's a matter of personal safety / home defense. Hidden amongst Eleanor's belongings, Casey finds a map with the location of her cabin marked on it, meaning that Eleanor's arrival was not as random as the girl might have her believe. She also finds disturbing and graphic drawings of a woman being tortured and killed. Personally, that's all the evidence I need. Not that I would invite a blood-soaked, knife-wielding stranger who asked me not to call the cops into my home in the first place, but if I did, and then found that they had actually come looking for me, an armed person has come looking for me, I'm shooting them. I'm not impressed with Casey's survival instincts. So
She's got plot armor.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's all right.
No, but
it was just ridiculous, though.
It's nonsensical.
And it happened to happen.
That you've looked for a bag, you found, like, she's marked your house, she's drawn you being tortured and killed, then she's told that story.
Not just that, but this all happened to happen in the time of a storm when the power lines happen to be down, 100%. So you can't call anybody. You just have to ride it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's a finite number of coincidences I'm willing to put up with. You should use it wisely.
Yeah, exactly that.
Don't use it on silly things.
This is my last one. I'm going to be honest. This is the second time I've written off Freida before finishing the book. But this time I was wrong. The twist at the end blindsided me. And honestly, I think this could be the first book that we've ever rated 5 stars. Joseph, hear me out.
All right.
Hear me out. A book that teaches women that might actually save lives and improve society. How could that not be 5 stars? I'm sure I'm not the only one who...
Protecting women is overrated. 0 stars.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who sees the genius behind Freida's work. Her target audience is young women.
Yeah.
The very next people who will raise the next generation. Through that lens, this story feels deeper. She's showing how crucial fathers are, no matter how much some mothers want to erase them.
Yeah.
Was this, underneath it all, a book about how children need their fathers? Is Freida quietly challenging a culture that treats fathers as optional? Because if she is, that's brave writing.
No, she's not.
Well, you don't think that's what it was? No, but that was something that was featured quite heavily in the book.
It was.
The young girl who wasn't Eleanor, she was Mel. I don't know what her name was.
Nell. No, Eleanor wasn't Nell. That was her nickname.
So what was the actual? Oh, so the actual girl was Eleanor. Yeah.
The girl was Eleanor, and then Casey was Ella.
Eleanor was no. So who was the one that was really wanted her father? Both of the children, right? Both they were really interested in finding out their father and this, that, and the other. So yeah, and when children are out their fathers, they seem to be really misguided. I mean, even Anton, who had a father who did abuse and whatnot, he needed a proper father, so a good father or whatnot.
Yeah, so Dr. Olivia Winter.
You just can't let that go in. You should keep reading now. And then, in a stroke of genius, she ends it all with a moral punch. When you discover bad things, sometimes it's up to you to dispense justice. So Joseph, do you co-sign that message?
Definitely
I mean,
not.
what could possibly go wrong if
Definitely
you live
not.
your life following
Definitely not. And that's the funny thing. This is why I disagree with you about Freida teaching young women the right ways. I believe that she's teaching women the wrong ways. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of her main characters are these crazy women that do crazy things, and because we're in the heads of these characters, we're hearing their justifications for it, and they're like, we're seeing their point of view. Like, bro, I was talking to Chloe about the housemaid, and she was like, yeah, Millie should have tortured and killed Andrew in his attic. I was like, that's nonsensical to say that. Like, if you're, if it's self-defense or whatever, you kill a guy in self-defense, that's one thing. But to trap him there and then torture him to death is like very calculated, isn't it? But no, I just don't feel like you're not Batman. You can't take justice into no, I don't necessarily believe in that. Teaching women the wrong ways.
So just to be clear, you don't agree with me that Freida McFadden might just have written a masterpiece.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
It's not a masterpiece in any sense of the word.
Well, that's what he done.
Masterpiece of shit. Super confusing ending, I thought. So initially, I suspected that Ella and Eleanor were the same person, but it's actually Ella and Casey who are the same person. So yeah, there was an element of blindsiding there.
Yeah, but I thought it was clear that Ella and Eleanor was the same person. Obviously, she was leading us into believing.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
Yeah.
but then it turned out Ella and Casey are the same person. So Ella's flashbacks are actually flashbacks to Casey's childhood. Her birth name was Elizabeth Casey Carter, and she changed her name after murdering her own mother. The Eleanor of the present timeline is the daughter of Casey's neighbour's brother.
Yeah, that was another coincidence that we
We didn't need that. And is looking for her father. I thought this twist wasn't done quite as well as some of the others that Freida has done in the past. A lot of this relies on intentionally confusing the readers by making names of characters similar on purpose and leaving out crucial info like Casey's real name in order to bump up the shock factor. So I just wasn't really impressed like that. Like, for example, if I said, oh, I'm going to show you a magic trick and I am going to put 3 holes in this without even touching it, and I take out a gun and shoot it. It's like, you're going to be like, no, well, that was a bit shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, so, okay, I know you're not going to recommend the book, and I know you're probably going to say 1 or 2 stars. 1 star.
Probably say 1.
Yeah. Do you think that Freida McFadden is an overrated author?
Overrated? Not really, because I don't really see anyone calling her a genius.
Yeah, okay,
like
but why is she so popular then? How does she do this?
Well, that's like asking.
It feels like the vast majority of people are complaining about this book.
That's true, but it's just like that question. I don't accept the premise of that question, because the question is almost like you're assuming that only good things become popular, only genius, well thought out, clever, amazing things. Like trash TV's a thing. Do you know what I mean? People watch Big Brother. It's like one of the longest running shows, and it's trash.
EastEnders more like.
Oh my goodness gracious, can you imagine? And it's just so much Made in Chelsea, The Only Way is Essex, all these Hollyoaks, all these trash TV shows.
Right, don't talk about Hollywood. you crossed the line there.
Whoa. Yeah, one too many. But yeah, no, honestly, it's these things stand the test of time, and when things stand the test of time, there's a very good reason for it. So, like we've always said, she makes books that are easy to read. You're not necessarily going to be too confused.
This one wasn't so much.
No, but we've had much worse.
Definitely.
In terms of, volume of a book.
Someone commented on the Name of the Rose video, actually. They actually recommended us another one from that
author. Is he serious?
From that author.
Did he not watch the video that we did?
I don't know.
Because I literally said, if I see that author in the street, I'm slide tackling him. I forgot his name now. I forgot his name.
Like Uno Umberto.
Yeah, Umberto Eco or something like that.
Yeah.
Joke, man. But
great author.
No, in all seriousness, though, yeah, I feel like her books are easy to read, especially in comparison to a lot of other books that we've read. In terms of, density, they're not too dense. They're not like all this 15-hour nonsense.
Get through it in a day.
100%. And you're guaranteed, at the very, very, very least, you're guaranteed to nut at
You're going to feel something.
You're going to nut at the end. At the very, very, very least, it's not going to be like one of the porn videos where they cut off the facial at the end. I'm like, no! But yeah, you're guaranteed.
Why does it always get back to this?
Because everything comes back to this.
What did they say? Everything's about sex, except for sex.
Which is about power.
And that's 2
that
quotes
I've dropped.
I dropped 2 quotes in this.
Dropping bombers.
Yeah, I think if you want to end the quote today, because I mean, come on, I don't recommend this, and it's a 1 star if that.
So you'd give it 1 star as well. Your masterpiece.
I wouldn't. I said it's either a 5 or it's a 1, and we have come to the conclusion that it's not a masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the twist was done well. I don't know why the book was called The Intruder. And I'm really getting fed up of this thing where Freida McFadden is just like, sells me one book and it gives me another one, expects me to be impressed. It's just like, just pulled the wool over my eyes. Anyway. Quote of the day. Remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. What do you think that means? Because I've thought it meant one thing and then I confused myself.
I didn't actually think. Do you know what? I didn't actually think about what it means. I was just thinking about aeroplanes taking off against the wind and stuff.
I like. Okay, so what do you? Now that you've had an opportunity to think about what it means, you've had 2 seconds. What would you say it means?
Life's hard, but you can do it.
Okay, fair
sort
enough.
Of thing.
Fair enough. That's what I thought it was, and I intentionally confused myself. I know I was
intentionally confused?
No, unintentionally. Sorry, confused myself. I've done it again. And I was thinking, does it mean like man does not want to attempt uphill road sort of thing? And then I went down.
It can't mean that man doesn't want to. It seems to be. It seems to be something.
Or like man should attempt uphill road sort of thing.
It seems to be something to do with using resistance for your own benefit. Something along those lines.
But this is against the wind. You have to take off against the wind. So like choose the hardest path sort of thing.
No, resistance is... You have to use resistance to benefit you.
Fair enough.
It's literally that.
Fair enough. That's what I initially thought it meant. And then, like I said, I second-guessed myself.
Till next time, I guess.
Till next time.